This is the Scary Movie Clubcast.
Live from the clubhouse, it's Scary Movie Clubcast. This is Megan.
And this is Amanda.
And this is Nadine.
And tonight we watched The Craft. And I would give it 4 out of 5 studded chokers.
I think I'm going to give it 3 studded chokers. This is what I'm feeling.
Okay.
I'd probably go 4 out of 5 jokers. Very solid, but, but not the best of the best.
Not perfect, but...
Yeah.
It didn't change my life,
For sure. But if you haven't seen it, you should definitely watch it.
Oh, so good. Classic. And tonight, Amanda has a special highlight on a horror director for us. Amanda, you want to tell us about it?
Yes, so I figured we would learn a little bit more about M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh.
Twist.
Yeah. Okay, so just a little bit of background on him. So he was actually born in India, and he and his parents immigrated to Pennsylvania when he was around 6 months old. Yeah. Little guy. His parents were both doctors, and he was raised Hindu. And the interesting thing is that he actually went to a private Catholic grammar school, and he always felt like an outsider there. And one of the teachers was even upset at the fact that he had the best grade in the religion class at one point.
Just because he didn't believe?
Because he wasn't Catholic, yeah, exactly.
Oh, well.
They sound like a racist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No kidding.
And then he actually went on to go to a private Episcopal high school.
Wow, you're getting all the religion that's not his.
Most of the private schools are
religious.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder if that's why Mel Gibson's character in Signs is actually an Episcopal priest.
Oh, maybe, because he knew so much.
Oh. Interesting.
So then after high school, he went to NYU on a merit scholarship, which is where he actually adopted the name Knight. So, he took the N in his middle name and turned it into Knight.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you had explained why he chose Knight specifically.
I don't know. I didn't really find anything on that.
He's is mysterious.
Yeah.
Also, he's just a college kid.
I know. It all sounds real cool.
Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan sounds pretty cool.
It does. No, I agree.
It does now because he is who he is.
Yeah.
But just some random college kid being like, guys, here's what I'm going to go buy. I would be like, nerd.
So when he was pretty young, he was given a Super 8 camera, which is how he really discovered his love of filmmaking.
So is a Super 8, is that like what the Wonder Years intro is shot with?
Maybe. I don't know.
I know, I have no basic. But anyway, some old-timey camera.
It's an old-timey camera. So that started his love of filmmaking, just having that and doing home movies. His father had initially wanted him to become a doctor, following the family business. Mm-hmm. But luckily, his mother always encouraged him to follow his dreams.
So cute.
I know, so sweet. And, they were doing pretty well for themselves. So lucky enough to be able to follow his dreams.
Yeah.
I wish I had parents who had told me not to follow my dreams and push me into a career that makes
more
money.
Practical.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've met you, Amanda. I really can't imagine that anyone would have been able to push you into something that you didn't want.
Anyway, so by the time he was 17, he had already made 45 home movies. Wow. And not just this is what we're doing as a family, but movies with a story behind them kind of thing.
That he edited,
presumably.
Yes.
Yeah. And he also likes to incorporate clips from those movies into the special features of his DVDs.
That is so cute.
What?
It's usually a clip that will relate to the movie in some way. He considers that clip to be an early representation of that kind of film. An attempt at that type of film.
Insanity. That's so cool.
Mm-hmm. He's done it with most of them. I think there's only 1 or 2 that I saw that he didn't do it for. As we know, he's most well known for his movie The Sixth Sense, which is honestly his magnum opus, basically. It's so good.
It was so good. Mm-hmm. That twist.
Yeah.
How I didn't see it coming.
No one did.
No one
People
did.
who say they did are liars. Dahmer. Nothing more enraging than after the twist happens, someone being like, well, I thought... No, you didn't. No. Too late. Ship has sailed. If you thought it, you should have spoken up. Too late now.
Yeah. We are now in a digital age, so the likelihood that you have heard something about The Sixth Sense prior to sitting down and watching it is now higher. When we...
Yeah.
Lydia's 9 now. She's probably old enough. I should show it to her before she sees something.
Yep.
I will say, the part where he sees the ghost that has the back of its head shot out really stuck with me. And I saw that movie at about that age. Well, I was a little bit older. I was like 11. No, I was like 10.
Misha vomiting all of it. I didn't love that either. Because I do thank God that I was fairly young the first time I watched.
I slept on the floor of my mom's room that night. So he's most well known for his film The Sixth Sense, but his first movie was actually called Praying with Anger, which is a semi-autobiographical film which he stars in, that he did while he was still a student at NYU, and it was primarily funded by his friends and family. His second movie, Wide Awake, his parents are credited as associate producers. It had a very limited release and only grossed a little over $30K, and that movie's budget was actually $6 million. So not a financial success, but it was nominated for a Young Artist Award for Best Drama.
Because the next one seems like a pretty big step up pretty quickly.
Yeah, because he gets Julia Stiles, Dennis Leary, and Rosie O'Donnell.
And a $6 million budget.
Yeah. And in 1998, 99, those are big names.
Oh, yeah.
Huge.
I love Julia Stiles.
And so it was during this time that he also co-wrote a screenplay for Stuart Little, and he was a ghostwriter for the movie She's All That.
Love that movie.
It's so good. And it seems like all these things were part of what helped him get his foot in the door to get The Sixth Sense made. Because he's like the full auteur on that. He like wrote it, directed it, and had a huge hand in like every part of it. And it actually was nominated for 6 Academy Awards, and it was the second highest grossing horror movie of all time at the time.
Yeah. 6 Academy Award nominations for a horror movie is huge.
Huge.
Yeah. Did it win any, I wonder?
I don't think so. Because I know Haley Joel Osment was nominated, and then...
Such a cute. He would have been so cute accepting an award.
Yeah.
Yes, truly.
And then, oh my gosh, what's her name?
Oh.
No, Toni Collette, is that her name?
Yes.
Okay. Toni Collette, she was also, she plays the mother. She was also nominated. I think it also got like Best Picture nominees and like Best Screenplay and things like that too.
It says total number of nominations 41, wins 17. But that's just like
awards
any
total.
Awards that they were nominated. Yeah,
not just Academy.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, they were only nominated for Academy Awards. They did not win any of those. Best Picture, Best Director, Best Supporting Actor for Haley Joel Osment, Supporting Actress for Toni Collette, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Film Editing.
And so one of the things I found really interesting is that, so as we know, The Sixth Sense stars Bruce Willis. Die Hard is one of M. Night's favorite movies.
Oh.
It's like
most men.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's, I mean, obviously, guess what one of his other favorites is? It's Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And The Exorcist. So, like, obviously, like, that's a huge splash to make.
Yeah.
And so he was also got to talking with Steven Spielberg about potentially making a 4th Indiana Jones movie right after. He ultimately decided it wasn't the right thing for him to do. In his 20s, Shyamalan says, "I don't think I could have told me that making thrillers for your whole life wasn't a bad thing. At first, it was a sense of, hey, I can make anything, but that's hypocritical because when I pick up an Agatha Christie novel in my library, I have a strong expectation, so I get it. When I become happy with the idea of making thrillers for the rest of my life, everything went right." So, like, it's kind of like, you kind of, like, want to be able to do it all, but, like, you get a reputation.
Yeah.
And people expect something for you, so it tends not maybe do as well if, like, you didn't already have this pre-existing thing.
I think it's especially, like, unfair for him, though, and sucks because the thing that he's known for is like a twist, and so
it's so hard.
They're looking for it the whole time.
Yeah,
and it's already hard enough to surprise with how
audiences.
Well, and then for them to get to the end of the movie and be like, "Oh, there was no twist."
You're like, I was looking for it the whole time.
What's happening?
Where'd it go?
yeah.
But I also think I read somewhere that Steven Spielberg had like suggested that maybe he do one of the Harry Potter films because like he was considered for directing The Sorcerer's Stone. But he turned it down because it was going to conflict with him making, I think, Unbreakable. And so he made Unbreakable instead, which is one of his favorite things is like superheroes. So he was like really excited about that. That one was another hit.
Yes.
And so then after that, he made Signs, which is a personal favorite of mine. I love Signs.
Love Signs.
And The Village right after that, which was financially successful but didn't do as well critically. And some people could see it as the beginning of Night's Fall from Grace, with its less than stellar reviews. After the release of The Village, Slate's Michael Ager noted that Shyamalan was following an, quote, uncomfortable pattern of making, quote, fragile, sealed-off movies that fell apart when exposed to outside logic. Which I do see a little, because my mom, one of the things she doesn't like about The Village is she feels like she was tricked. Because in the beginning, they had that funeral.
Yeah.
And on the tombstone, the year is like the past.
Yeah. Even though it's not in the past.
It's not in the past.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen The Village.
Maybe don't listen to this episode if you haven't watched M. Night Shyamalan movies.
So I do see that like a little bit. So after The Village, he was looking into adapting the book Life of Pi. But again, he backed out of it because of that expectation of like what people expect him to do. And he thought that it would be better for someone else to make the movie.
I see.
So he went on to make Lady in the Water instead. And now, personally, I like Lady in the Water.
I haven't seen it.
Is that the one where it's like a hotel? Like the motel kind of.
It's an apartment complex.
That's what it is, and it's yeah. I also was partial to that movie as well. Like, is it as good as Sixth Sense and The Sign? No, but I really enjoyed that.
I
movie.
did too.
I thought it was a lot better than The Village.
Yeah.
Because
to me, it's like at times it is a little silly, but it's also very charming to me.
Yeah.
And it's based off of like a bedtime story he would tell his children. And so it very much, like, some of the things, like, really, like, reflect that and, like, give, like, this is a story I was telling my kids, and they interjected, and they said this weird thing. Like, I just think of that one guy in it, the one character is this weird character who lives in this apartment building, and he only exercises one side of his body.
Yes.
As a science experiment. So he has, like, one really buff arm and one really buff leg, and then, like, a little stick arm and a little stick leg, and it's so silly and so funny. And I can just see, like, a little kid being like... Em's like, he's really strong. He's like, but only one arm's strong.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, I meant to look this up, but I skipped it. I'm pretty sure he wrote a book, like a children's book, about the Lady in the Water.
Oh.
But the movie was like a critical failure. And I think part of the reason critics didn't like it is because he does cast himself in the movie, which is something he is wanting to do every so often. He usually gets himself little parts here and there. But in this one, he casts himself as hero, like prophet writer type person. Right. Basically, his character in it is this kind of like reclusive writer who is told that he's going to write this book that's going to change the world in a big way. And it's going to be really influential. And so I think people are, you're getting a little,
Yeah, too big for your britches.
Exactly. But then he definitely hit a new low when he did The Happening, which I don't know if you've seen it.
I don't even know that I've heard of it.
Bad.
Oh, maybe it's for the best.
Okay, well, so you've never heard of it. I mean, the trailers made it look like semi-interesting.
Okay.
But basically, it's like the plants have mutated in a way that they're defending themselves and like sending out spores that make humans kill themselves.
Oh. Jeez.
It's brutal. And it was like his first like rated R movie, I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
But unfortunately it stars Mark Wahlberg and Zooey Deschanel.
Ugh.
What a weird duo.
Yeah, they have zero chemistry.
I bet they didn't.
Zero chemistry. Mark Wahlberg's supposed to be like this like semi-genius science teacher.
No.
Not believable.
No.
He's like a high school science teacher, but like really smart or whatever. No, he doesn't. He's not good at smart.
Because I will say, I've seen Mark Wahlberg in a horror movie before, but he was like the villain, and he was great.
He can be really
honestly,
good if
given
the right role.
Kind of upsettedly about like him as that villain.
Well, I personally love him and the other guys. I think
they're meant to be a romantic interest.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Crazy. Yeah, there's a lot of
very weird.
It's also probably one of the worst performances Mark Wahlberg's ever delivered. It's
guy.
like
he
very
was
bad.
I don't know that it's even his fault.
I know.
That's really like what a role to give him.
And like, I mean, honestly, I can't really remember that much about the ending, but I really feel like all of a sudden the plants just stop. I feel it's like kind of like how in the end of War of the Worlds, like all the drama stops just because the aliens all get sick. But in this one, the plants just don't. Anyway, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure Mark Wahlberg and Zooey Deschanel were fine at the end of that movie. It was like I just don't feel like it had like a very
So what was the twist?
Clear ending. The twist was these people were all killing themselves because of the plants.
Oh, you didn't know that.
You didn't know that. You were like, people were just like outside and just like killing themselves, like getting in front of their lawnmowers and
Like
laying
bird
down.
boxy.
Yeah.
You know, I think that sometimes that's the mistake that they make in horror movies, is thinking that things always have to be explained. But the truth is that sometimes not explaining it is the better way to do it, because sometimes the more you explain, the more holes that you actually create.
Yeah. And sometimes like just like letting the audience put in their own fears and things like that does a lot.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, it appears the only line about it in the Wikipedia, not that that should be my best source, it says, the outbreak has abated as quickly as it began.
Yes.
No further explanation needed.
That's what I thought. it just stopped.
Yep.
Whereas War of the Worlds kind of does it more correctly, because like they just get sick with earth microbes and things like that. Whereas the plants just stop. It's very strange. And it happens very quickly. And then, so after that, his most infamous flop, which you would think that was bad, he goes on to try and make the Last Airbender movie, which is a very beloved IP.
I don't think I realized that was him who did that movie.
Oh, yes.
Ooh, that was bad.
That was really very bad for him. Because, like, he got a lot of flack because it's like an American anime, and all the characters are, like, Native American or of Asian descent, kind of. And he cast white actors. And so he got a lot of flack for that. But then there was also this part, it's a children's television show. Everyone's name is said in the show. The actors were pronouncing the names wrong.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they weren't. So the main character is Aang.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they were saying it Ong. Like,
that's embarrassing.
it's really something that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
But yes, it was very bad. And it's like,
he only agreed to direct it for the money.
I mean, possibly. I also had heard that his children were fans of the show.
Yeah.
So, like, you would think he would have enough insight to done a good job.
I just think it's really weird that that's the one that he accepted. Like, I just think it's weird that, you know, multiple times before he had been offered these kind of, like, random gigs, and he was like, no, I don't think that's the right move. And then suddenly this one, he was like, sure.
But, I mean, maybe it's another one of the things where it's like, my kids will think this is cool. I don't know how much influence that has, but that's when, like, Hollywood and a lot of audiences, like, lost a lot of faith in him. But he was able to get a lot of that good faith back with his next project, The Visit, in 2015. Yeah, I haven't seen that one, and I don't plan on seeing it because I know there's a scene that has to do with diapers, and I don't want anything to do with that. Yeah. Adult diapers.
It's not. Gross. I'm just telling you, it's not as graphic as you'd think it would be.
Yeah, it's just.
But that movie's wild.
That movie, he self-funded, and a lot of studios passed on it, but it wound up grossing $98 million on a $5 million budget. Yes. And that, like, more or less restored his reputation. So he was able to complete the Unbreakable trilogy.
Yes. Split.
Yeah, Split was a roaring success.
Oh, so
Split
good.
is very good.
It is. And then there was Glass after that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one yet. I need to. He also wound up producing a few shows during this time. Wayward Pines, I saw in the first season, and then The Twist in the End made me immediately not like it, and I didn't watch the second season. But he also produced Servant, and, like, on both these shows, he directed the first episode. He might have done more than one episode, but I know he directed the pilots of both these shows. And I think Servant is, like, so good. It's so weird. The first episode, you're like, what is really happening here? Basically, it's this family hires this nanny to take care of their baby, and you find out the baby is one of those rebirth dolls.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it just, like, reels you in, like, really quickly. You're like, what is happening? Crazier things just keep happening and happening and happening. And then, you know, he's done 2 more movies, Old and Knock at the Cabin. They both did fairly well. Knock at the Cabin had better, like, critical reviews than Old did. Old is weird. I will say that. I mean, honestly, they're all kind of weird. He's gone weird. Much weirder. But, like, they all still have that very distinct style and, like, a flair. Like, if you're watching it, you're like, oh, this definitely feels like M. Night Shyamalan. Which I really appreciate, like, a distinct visual style and, like, rhythm when directors have that. And then, so, most recently, his movie Trap is coming out.
That's the Josh Hartnett.
Josh Hartnett.
Okay. Yep.
Basically, Josh Hartnett is a serial killer, and he is taking his kid to a pop concert, and the whole thing was set up to catch him. I mean, they don't know it's him. They know he's going to be at that concert, though. The previews tell everyone that. And then he was also a producer on his daughter's movie, The Watchers, which I've actually heard, I don't think it has the best critical reviews, but I haven't seen it for myself, so I can't say anything about it. Yeah, but that brings us basically up to date with M. Night Shyamalan. I'm interested to see what he does next and how Trap does. I'm pretty interested. I would have liked, I told this to Megan when we saw the preview in the movie we saw the other day. I would have liked it if it was like a pop star that I'd known.
No.
Be in it. Because I don't know if it's a real pop star or if it's just an actor pretending to be a pop star.
It looked to be like an actor.
Yeah. But I would have loved it if it was like a Taylor Swift or like an Ariana Grande or something like that. Would have been more fun. I think it would have pulled, I feel like, a lot more people too.
Probably.
But
I'm sure you could have gotten someone to be willing to,
yes.
I'm sure one of these pop stars has to be a fan of his.
Yeah, you would think.
Ariana specifically likes horror.
I know, but I also like wondered about like, I mentioned this to Megan, but I was like, maybe she wouldn't want to do something like that because of like, I don't know, that like attack that happened at her concert.
Yes, that was
So it's a lot of trauma.
Also, I will say, I don't know about all of them, but like, man, Mariah Carey will not lower her fee for anyone. She's like, this is what it costs to have me for this amount of time, and I don't know what to tell you. And I love that kind of honestly. Like, she's like, I don't care how much I love you.
I know what I'm worth.
You can pay this or no.
Yeah.
She's thinking about the future. She's like, I'm going to retire one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's M. Night.
You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Scary Movie Clubcast, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. See you next movie night, and don't forget, there are 84 days till Halloween. Goodbye!
Bye!
Tonight we watched The Craft.
You sound like you're here against your will. I just want you to know. You are. We've taken you captive. You're never going home.
No!
You need a little more pep in your step, man.
Look, I'm tired. This is the peppiest you're gonna get from me.
We got Mountain Dews in the fridge.
Oh.
Twist. Oh, look, we're already such a great audience.
Oh, no.
What's his, like,
Yeah, not his given name.
I don't want to.
This is the fun part.
It's not fun for me.
You gotta try.
No, I'm bad. It's so embarrassing.
You chose this director.
I only
You were gonna have to say his name.
I only did it because he had movies coming out. I cannot pronounce names of like half the white people we talk about.
Look, I just need you to try it for us. You don't even need to have... You're editing, so you can edit it out. You don't have to have it in.
I didn't even write it down. I was like, I'm not saying it.
I love the name Minaj, though. Mostly because of the hot man.
I mean, fair enough.
That's really all it takes.
It really is.
And he was a nice person.
I know, and it just takes him being mean to ruin that name forever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's why all Codys can just go burn in hell.